Bitch How.
where we talk about whatever, whenever.
Because why the fuck not?
I'm your host, Ruby.
And I'm your host, Des.
Welcome. Hello, and welcome back to Bitch How.
Welcome to the audio-only version of
Yes.
Bitch How this week. Unfortunately, we've been having some technical difficulties with our video during this recording, so you're just going to hear our sexy ass voices.
Yeah, it's been a little difficult today to record
Yes.
and do voices together. So we're just going to do the voice, just this week.
Yeah. So a little bit of ASMR, a little bit of,
Yes.
just sex talk. I'm just kidding. We're not going to
We can.
We could. Whatever.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Ruby,
Yes.
how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's nighttime.
It is nighttime.
It's our first time recording at night.
Yes.
So it's a little bit crazy.
It's a little creepy.
Really creepy. I don't know if my house is haunted or not.
Oh, the other day, speaking of haunted houses, me and Desi tried to open her attic the other day. Bro, we had to sage this whole house.
Yo, I'm not kidding when I say I'm a very superstitious person.
Mm-hmm.
And when that attic, for a second would not shut, I had to get
She
a
got spooked.
fucking spatula, and I
Yeah.
got so scared. And so I had to sage the house.
Yeah.
Yo.
So if you hear us chewing, just a friendly reminder, we are eating a popcorn.
Yeah.
And if you hear crying, it's Lola.
My dog has been acting very crazy today.
She's been the reason why we've been struggling.
She's one of them, for sure. But she's my girl. But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about today?
So, it's nighttime. So it's only right to talk about what you talk about at night.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is, Desi?
Sex.
That could be it.
Could be it.
But no.
Oh, wait. Ooh. Another guess. Cooking.
Not at nighttime. You bake at night.
That's true.
But no, not today. Today, we're going to do a serial killer episode.
Ooh, fuck. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. As you know, me and Desi are very, very, very into serial killers. And we're not saying we condone what they do, but we're just saying it's very interesting.
We're into the psychology and of it all.
Mm-hmm.
We find it interesting.
Very interesting.
So, as all women in the United States who listen to true crime podcasts, watch true crime shows, it's only fair that we just discuss some of our quote-unquote favorite serial killers that we find interesting.
Yes.
And, I know that I got into just finding out the psychology of it at an early age. What about you?
I was just always into, paramedic stuff and police stuff. And I felt like I had to balance that, Had to balance the good with the bad. So I always liked Criminal Minds is probably one of my favorite shows of all time.
It's a good show.
And that shows a couple serial killers that are well known. Yes. So that's why.
Have you ever seen, so Netflix has this show, and I haven't watched it yet, but it's called The Mindhunter. Have you heard? So apparently it is about one of these serial killers named Edmund Kemper. This serial killer apparently is really highly intelligent.
Really?
Yeah. Again, I need to watch it, but I heard it was a really, really good show. So, probably need to binge that.
Right. There's a lot of, so the criminals are not the criminals. The serial killers that we're going to talk about today are going to be very short, just basic, or just a brief of what they did. Yeah. And how long they did it for. We're not going to go into too much detail because, like we said, it's nighttime and we're trying to go to sleep tonight. Yeah. So, that's going to be our episode for today. Desi has two people. I have two people that I'm going to talk about today. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I can go first.
Okay. Desi's going to go first.
All right.
Do you hear that crunch? Oh.
So, the first serial killer that I'm going to speak about is actually a serial killer that was recently caught within the last 3 to 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Good thing they caught him, though, you know?
Yeah, it's a very good thing. Thank God. Because it was a cold case for a good 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the individual that I want to speak about, his name is Joseph James Deangelo, also known as the Golden State Killer.
Yes.
So the Golden State Killer actually had 13 confirmed murder victims, and I'll go into detail why it's only murder victims. He was active in his crime spree from 1976 to 1986. Location is in California, mainly in the Sacramento and Southern California area. And he has recently been charged as of 2018. So he was a serial criminal who raped and murdered his victims while taunting survivors and the police.
That's fucked up.
It's really fucked up. So police believe that he started his burglaries in Visalia.
I thought you were going to say burgers.
Yeah, burgers. Fun. Burglaries in Visalia, which is in Southern California, ransacking more than 120 homes in 20 months.
That's a lot of homes.
It's a lot of homes.
But I mean, if you think about it, 20 months.
That's 6 homes a month.
That's
a lot.
That's a lot of homes.
Yeah. So his murders, again, started in 1976. And he was believed to move to Sacramento, and he started to sexually assault his victims. He would scout the homes of 50 plus victims, sometimes days ahead of the attack, before breaking in, tying up his victims, and raping the women. He always planned an escape route and was never caught. So he started murdering his victims, or his rape victims, in 1979, killing 13 known victims in total. He would also phone the police and attack survivors, taunting them with details of his plans.
That's fucked up.
He meaning Joseph James Deangelo, who is now in his 70s, served in the United States Navy during the Vietnam War, and he worked as a police officer for the Auburn PD for 3 years in the 1970s.
Didn't he act like he was sick in his trial? Like he came in a wheelchair?
Yeah, and he pretended like he was kind of blind.
Yeah, and then they had that video with him climbing on top of his little light fixture in jail to.
Oh yeah, no, he's a piece of shit. No, he's a straight up fucking piece of shit.
That is so crazy how a cop can do that.
You know, I mean, especially in today's climate, some people don't trust the police, and this kind of just like...
This is why.
This shows that some police officers, or at least this one in general, is just not a good person.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is Joseph James Deangelo, also known as the Golden State Killer.
Okay, so I'm going to go to mine. Can you guess who mine is?
Oh, no.
Okay. I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
Zac Efron.
Ooh, Zaddy. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Bro,
I almost drooled.
She's over here drooling.
Yo, that man. Well, if Zac Efron is the clue, then you must be talking about the one and only Mr. Theodore Bundy.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my goodness.
And I must say, Zac Efron is a great actor.
Yes.
But the performance he put on for us on the Ted Bundy movie, bro.
Scary accurate, right?
Yes. So the movie is called Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. So if you don't know, before he did this movie, when I watched it, I watched you know how they do like press conferences after and they do all these things? He was saying that he was studying him for about a year and actually really looking at how he did his face and his movements and all that stuff. And that's how he did that. Dude,
like, that just scares the fucking shit out of me.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I'm attracted to him, to be honest.
Bro, she's not attracted to good men. That's not her. And Lily Collins, too. She said that she she talked a lot to his former girlfriend at the time, and they had a lot of conversations on how it actually went, and they played them so well.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
That is an amazing movie.
It's on Netflix, so if y'all have time, not at nighttime, watch it during the day.
Yeah, so that's why we're not going too much into detail, because it is nighttime and we are trying to go to sleep.
Yes.
Okay, so Ted Bundy, confirmed victims 30, years active 1974 to 1978. His date of birth was 11/24/46, and he killed in California, Colorado, Florida, Idaho, Oregon, Utah, and Washington. And he is dead.
Thank God.
Yes. So this is just a little brief thing that I found. It says Ted Bundy is one of the most notorious and documented serial killers ever. Over a 4-year span in the 1970s, Bundy killed at least 30 women and performed vile acts with their bodies. Though he had somewhat troubled childhood, Bundy grew up to be a handsome, charismatic, and popular student. His first confirmed kill came in 1974 when he started to terrorize females students in Washington. So he started pretty young.
Yeah, I swear, like he probably had such. It's so interesting to me, like how rough of a childhood he had. I mean, I don't know if it goes into detail.
Not in this piece, not in this description of but apparently he did.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So authorities believe Bundy may started killing as a teenager. He has confirmed victims across 7 states.
That's a lot of states.
Bundy charmed many of his victims before kidnapping them and taking them to remote locations to rape and kill them. He sometimes returned to the scene later to perform sexual acts with the bodies. He was arrested in 1975 by a traffic officer who saw Bundy acting suspiciously and recognized his distinctive Volkswagen Beetle from a description provided by a surviving victim. A murder kit was found in his car, and police linked him to a series of killings. During his trial, Bundy managed to escape prison twice. The second escape saw Bundy disappear for 6 weeks. He was eventually captured again in Florida as he tried to flee after assaulting and killing 6 more women. So in those 6 weeks that he was out of jail, he killed 6 people. After a high-profile trial and many years of failed appeals, Bundy was killed by an electric chair in 1989. Bro. That is crazy.
Bro, okay, so 2 things. 1, murder kit? The fuck? Like...
So I'm assuming that would be gloves.
Shovel. Yeah. Rope. All that stuff.
And I heard, and one of his favorites, one of his killings was actually, he killed somebody, I think it was like a sledgehammer or a hammer or some shit like that. Bro. Where he cut the head off. It was in the movie.
Oh, you mean like the axe? Like
I don't know if it was an axe. It was some type of hammer.
Okay.
But he did, so in the movie and in his documentaries, and most of them, it does say that he pretended like he was hurt. Like he had a broken arm, broken neck. Always something was broken. And that's how he would attract people. Or not people, just women. Yeah. He would attract them. And that's how he'd get them to help him, and then he'd hurt him.
That is insane. What a psychopath. And then, my second thing, I guess, is that you said he escaped from jail twice. How the fuck?
Okay, so the first time, I think he jumped out. So he was able to represent himself.
In court?
In court.
Oh, what a psychopath.
Right. So there was this one day where the guards kind of just left him alone for a second. He jumped out of the window. And that's how he escaped the first time. Okay. The second time, I think he did it through his cell. Like the light on top of his cell. I think he pulled it out and he got out. I think those were his 2 ways of getting out. But that's insane. He killed 6 women in 6 weeks. That's a woman per week. And then went back to do all those things to those girls.
So glad he got caught.
Yeah, and supposedly those are the only women that they found that he killed, but apparently it was more than 100 women.
Man, that's insane. Yeah, I mean, you think that about, some facts about, serial killers like Ted Bundy because he's so much in the spotlight. But damn, that's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, and there's so many documentaries about him too.
Yeah.
Like there's so much shit on him, okay?
For real. Well, moving on to another piece of shit.
From one piece of shit to another.
So why not go into the very first confirmed American piece of shit serial killer? H.H. Holmes. H.H. stands for Henry Howard. So, Henry Howard Holmes. And you guys should see his photo, but this man is rocking a fucking stash, bro.
He is.
It's like,
I wonder if he had hair on top.
The stash of stash. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to.
I think that's a very popular look for that time.
That's true. I don't fucking care about this guy, but hey,
okay.
It's so he is confirmed to kill 9 victims. However, he is suspected of killing 27.
Whoa.
He was active in 1891 and ended in 1894. Birth date 5/16/1861. Current status dead.
He hella dead.
All right, so H.H. Holmes murdered a series of women, men, children before he was hung for his crimes. So before he became a murderer, he was a con artist. So he stole a lot of people's money, and all this money he was able to invest in a quote-unquote murder castle. So this was a 3-story building that housed a pharmacy and some apartments, but it had some few unusual features. The second story included secret passageways, soundproofed rooms, sealed gas chambers, and chutes for bodies to be dumped into the basement.
Okay, before you continue.
Yes.
How fucked up is that? Hey, you can come to my building. On the first floor, you can get some medicine, supplies, whatever you need. On the 3rd floor, you can live here. And on the 2nd floor, you might get killed.
I mean, it's the American way, guys. So
that's fucked up.
I mean, yes, it definitely is. So with all these murders, Holmes actually had a lucrative business by selling the victims' organs in the black market and also selling their bones to medical schools and laboratories. So he was making money off these motherfuckers. Or excuse me, victims. My apologies.
Was fucked up.
In addition to murders, Holmes is known to commit arson and insurance fraud. He was eventually caught in 1896 and was hung for his crimes. So the fun fact about all of this, about H.H. Holmes, is that this guy is such a piece of shit and cares so much about money that he reported to have been paid $7,500, which in 1896 was a lot.
That's a lot of money.
By a newspaper for an exclusive confession. He admitted to 27 murders and several attempted murders. Now, with these 27 murders, some that he claimed to have killed were still alive. They're like, hey, bro. Hey, what up, HH?
I'm right here.
You know, we've been, like, texting back and forth. I know texting wasn't the thing back then, but
no, it wasn't. Hey, JJ, I know that we had a great time last night, and, you know, you probably didn't feel like it was a great time, but you didn't have to say you killed me.
I know. Like, you may have murdered this pussy, but you didn't murder me.
Facts.
But yeah, that is the first American serial killer, H.H.
Holmes.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
who's your last one?
My last one, you guys might know him. He died.
Thank God.
In, I think it was December something. Let me make sure. So he died December 30th, 2020 in LA.
Oh, this was recent.
It was 2 years ago. That's so crazy to say.
Bro, that is actually.
Okay, so if you have guessed it, my person is Samuel Little.
Ooh, who dat?
Mr. Samuel Little. Let's see. I'm going to tell you his little description here. He has confirmed or confirmed deaths, 50.
Oh my
I
goodness.
said that's so weird. Mm-hmm. He has confirmed killed 50 people.
Jesus.
But
that's a lot of people. Like confirmed?
Yeah, confirmed. Jeez. So they think that it was more than 100 people.
That's insane.
Not just people, women.
Like, how do you have the time?
Oh, he had time. He killed from 1970 to 2005.
What?
2005. From 1970 to 2005.
35 years.
Yes. And he was born 6/7/40. This was in California, Texas, Ohio. And he is currently dead. Okay, so let's get into it. Samuel Lotto is one of the most prolific serial killers in American history. Lotto was in trouble with the law from an early age, and by 75, he had been arrested no fewer than 26 times across 11 states, with crimes ranging from fraud to violent acts. In the early 1980s, Samuel Lotto beat 2 separate murder charges before being jailed for 2.5 years for attempting to strangle 2 women. After he was released from prison, he moved to Los Angeles and left a trail of victims in his wake, but was not caught until 2012. Decades on, development in the DNA evidence allowed police to prove that Lotto had been involved in a huge number of murders. He was eventually tracked into a homeless shelter in Kentucky and was jailed for life in LA after being extradited to California. In 2018, Lotto confessed to a catalog of grisly murders, most of which involved women he had strangled. The FBI confirmed that he had killed at least 50 women from 1970 to 2005 and have so far linked them to 100 murders in total. It is suspected that he had killed over 200 people. What the fuck? Okay, so if you don't know, that's just a little bit of this man, right? So if you don't know, or if you want to know a little bit more about him, he does have a documentary episode on 60 Minutes. I think that's what it's called, where he is being interviewed by the FBI. And I can't remember if he drew these pictures of all the women he killed, or they drew. I'm pretty sure he did, because these seemed like just drawings, right? So the officers were asking him, "Hey, do you remember this girl from Kentucky?" He'd be like, "Yeah, I remember her. I did this, and to her. I remember exactly what she wore, where we met, and how it happened." And that's so crazy to me, because it was like 100 and something women, and he remembered every single detail of each woman. And it's not just the detail. I mean, they wouldn't even say the name. They just said, "Hey, do you remember this girl that you dumped here?" And he'd be, "Yeah." He'd be like, "Yeah." That's crazy, right?
That's insane. Like, I mean, good on his memory, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, the older you get, like, the shittier your memory gets. Like, sometimes I don't even know what the fuck I said a minute
yesterday
before.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he remembered people from, like, 35 years ago, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, that bitch from Kentucky, like, she had brown hair, blue eyes, and..."
Yeah, that's literally how it went. And he would literally describe every single murder. He'd remember every single murder to a T. That's crazy.
That is insane. I mean, that just goes to show how psychotic the serial killers were, because, I mean, all of the people we talked about are dead.
So he had a photographic memory.
Photographic memory.
And he was able to describe where he met and killed all his victims.
That's
where
insane.
He left their bodies and what their victims looked like. So he had a really, really good memory.
Jesus. That's insane.
That is crazy. I cannot imagine. I mean, I feel like a lot of these serial killers have some type of traumatic childhood, or like some type of mental something.
So a lot of serial killers that I've read about definitely either had the childhood like you stated, or they had some kind of head injury that altered their brain chemistry.
That's insane.
Yeah. Like imagine if, there was a butterfly effect situation where something else happened in their life. Like, who knows if, like, Ted Bundy would have been a prolific law or lawyer, or who knows if like Jeffrey Dahmer would have been a baker, or like fucking Eileen Wuornos would have worked in a corporate office. Like all of these serial killers that you just think, you're just like, fuck, bro. Like
it could have been so different.
It could have been so different, but at the end, that didn't happen, and they're pieces of shit. And man,
like Jeffrey Dahmer, that's another nutcase.
Yo, fuck that guy. Like, ugh, like he preyed on gay black men, and that's disgusting.
How do you go so long without getting caught? But I mean, back then, I feel like they didn't have that many resources.
No, not at all.
And they had more crooked cops than good cops.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It could have been avoided, kind of.
It could have been, but
like Ted Bundy, if they would have secured him when he was in jail the first time and not let him be by himself all that time,
there wouldn't have been that.
They wouldn't have been those 6 extra women that he killed. Yeah, so I feel like a lot of cops don't really take stuff like that. Well, not. I mean, back then.
Yeah.
Now everything is completely different.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's cameras everywhere. Like you can't
literally,
and you have a phone on you constantly that tracks you constantly. So
yes, that's insane.
It is.
Speaking of phone tracking,
what's up?
How the hell is it that you say something? Let's say I want to buy a mattress, right? And then all of a sudden, all the ads on my phone are mattresses.
Girl, Big Brother. I'm telling you right now. But anyway,
thank you so much for watching
and listening.
Or not even watching, just listening. Yeah. Sorry again for not being able to have a video this Wednesday.
Yeah.
But we tried our best to bring this episode to you, and we hope you enjoy it. We hope you listen to it. We hope you share it to your families, to your families' families, to your friends.
Please remember, do go onto our YouTube page and watch the previous content.
And the next ones.
Yes. And please listen to our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. And yeah, and also please check into our Instagram accounts. I am at Desiree Grace.
I'm at Rubizi, and our podcast page is Bitch How Pod.
Yeah. With that said, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. We love you. And have a great rest of your evening. Stay safe. Bye.